have had two embarrassing moments that have stood out that I did want to share about. Thankfully, when I was younger and in high school, people were not too mean, even though it was really, really hot weather all the time and I had to wear uniform to school. I would cover myself with a sweater in the scorching heat. People were generally pretty nice, except one time I went on vacation and I went to a friend's house and her sister was there. And her sister took one look at me and said, "What's wrong with you, you diseased kid?" And I remember thinking, wow, she's one of the first people that actually commented on something quite hurtful and just out of the blue. I didn't really expect it. Another time was when I had a huge giant wound on my leg and it was oozing. And this is when I was in high school. People were pretty nice, like I just mentioned, but one time I had the oozing wound and I had no idea that it smelled. And one day, one of my really close friends said to me, "Have you been putting medicine on, or is it the medication that's causing the smell?" She tried to say it in a really nice way, which I'm deeply thankful for. But she said that people were also wondering what the smell was coming from, if it was the medication. And I just said that yes, it was, because I was so embarrassed. I didn't even notice the smell of it. And I remember going home and my mom also pointed out the smell to me. And I got so upset and I just asked her, "Why didn't you tell me before that it was, there was a smell coming from there?" And so that was one of them. And actually another one just came to mind. I have shared this before, so you may have heard of it before. But when I was in prom, I didn't realize that a lot of the rashes were showing. And I was originally gonna wear something over my dress just to cover my shoulders. But I ended up wearing it as a scarf instead. And I thought that it was really dark and no one would see it. But lo and behold, people took pictures. There were flashes throughout the night, the camera flashes. And a few days later at school, everyone was sharing the pictures around school and my rashes were showing so much and everyone could see it. Anyway, that was really embarrassing for me, and prom is usually a great time that people remember, but for me, it was really, really hard and I never really enjoyed that moment. Thankfully, things have gone a lot better now, and I am thankful for all the experiences and just being able to grow through this, even though it's been a tough journey for sure, but I feel like I've also learned a lot through all of this. And I'm so thankful that all of you guys are also here just supporting one another and that we are here for each other. And don't forget that if you do need more support, my Facebook support group is always here for you, and we're always here to offer you support and a safe place for you to vent. Yeah, that's one thing that I want you to remember is I recently posted a post on Instagram that shame dies in safe places. And so I just hope that you'll know that there is no shame and that you don't need to feel judged, especially if you ever connect with me or even message me on social media, that you don't need to feel judged, especially for any kind of question that you ask. And there is no such thing as, silly questions, dumb questions. I'm always here for you and here to help you and answer any questions that you have as well. So this next story comes from Charmaine, and she has an Instagram with food pictures and her food stories and her journey, and she is so sweet. You can go check her out on Instagram. So here is her story that she has shared.
I have pretty bad eczema on my hands, and when it flares up, I try to cover them up with long sleeves. Although most of my students don't usually say anything, I've had comments like, "Ooh, your hands look so old," and "How come you have so many wrinkles?" I know they don't mean any harm, but comments like those definitely make me feel embarrassed about my hands.
Can anyone relate to that? I feel like my hands are the exact same way. Even though my hands are clear now, but I still have a lot of the wrinkles from just so many years of using steroids, which have thinned my skin a lot. So I've definitely gone through the thinning of the skin, and I feel like it's been like this for a long time. But I'm just thankful the rashes are gone. But if you can relate, let me know, because I know this is something that a lot of us go through. But Ben Fuchs, who was on my podcast recently, actually just shared tips to prevent and reverse wrinkles as well. So you can go check that episode out. I just released it. Here is another story that my friend who I met on Instagram has shared. And I really love just meeting so many of you from the eczema community on social media. And it's been so great to know so many of you. So this is from Tootsie Wong.
I think one of the most embarrassing moments during my steroid withdrawal was when I was interviewing a parent and I caught her staring at my hands. I had symptoms all over my hands. They were red, inflamed, and oozing. And I was trying so hard to cover them with long sleeves and makeshift band-aids. I didn't have proper hand coverings. I was too tired to go on the internet to order such things. And I caught her staring at them, and I apologized and told her that my condition was not contagious, and she just kept staring.
Thank you, Tootsie, for sharing that. And I know so many of us have gone through that as well. How many of you have endured the staring from other people? I remember when I was in high school, I had to take the bus every single day to school. And not just the school bus, but I had to take the public bus. And I was so afraid. I couldn't look people in the eye. I was so afraid of what they thought of me or their judgment, mainly because my scalp was oozing, my face was full of rashes, I couldn't move my body properly because everything hurt. And so that was one of the hardest times that I think that I went through. And I know that a lot of you can probably relate as well. And if you can, I just want to let you know that you're not alone and that so many of us are going through this. And so this is a safe place and a safe space for you to just be able to relate to a lot of our stories as well. Here is Lauren's story.
My name is Lauren. My embarrassing story is from when I was a junior in high school. I'm a sophomore in college now, but I was sitting in my first period class. I was sitting at my desk, and people had been kind of notioning me for me to brush my cheek off, and I would feel my dead skin, which was normal, and I'm like, okay, it's eczema, get over it. I would give them a look and be like, okay, and then I looked down at my leggings, and I was wearing black leggings, and they were covered in dry, dead skin. And I just immediately got up, went to the bathroom, and looked in the mirror, and all of the skin on my cheek had been falling off since I got there, I guess. And it was absolutely mortifying. I went immediately home.
I know that a lot of us can relate to it, especially if we've had flakes and dry skin. And I know a lot of us have gone through embarrassing moments as well. Remember that you are not alone if you're going through it. Here's another story from Eric.
Hi, this is Eric with Skinessa, and this is my embarrassing skin story. I once went to a pool party, and I had a flaky, dry ankle that I had paired with a stubbed toe, and somebody said to me, "Your foot looks like it died. You might want to get that checked out."
So that is Eric from Skinessa. A lot of you have shared your story with me as well, and I'm so thankful that many of you have shared your story and that you've also given me permission to share on behalf of you. One of you said that I used to get eczema all over my eyelids and they would just bleed. Another one of you also said that I had eczema flare up under my eyes, and one of my friends thought I had a double black eye. Another one of you shared with me over Instagram that I had an eczema patch on my neck in high school. One day, someone asked if it was a hickey. Another person on Instagram also shared, I got it on with a guy I was dating and my skin was rough. As I left, he said, please put some cream on. And I just got so many stories like that, and I just want to remind you that you're not alone. Embarrassing stories happen to so many of us, but I just hope that you don't have the need or that you don't even need to feel the shame, because I just want to make this a safe space for you to feel like you can be yourself and to be able to relate to a lot of what a lot of us are going through. So if you're listening to this today, I just want to thank you for taking the time to listen, and I want to remind you that you are a conqueror, and despite the embarrassing stories that we go through and that we may hear, especially in all of our lives, I just want to remind you that you are a conqueror and that you can overcome anything that comes your way.